Our homes and pets are deeply connected to how we live and age. So when life changes, planning for a beloved companion animal should be just as important as planning for anything else we care about. Sam, how can people start making a realistic plan for their pets before a crisis happens?
Well, you hear so many pet owners and pet lovers that'll say, they're like my children. Mm-hmm. They're my kids now. We would plan for our children, right? I mean, we're not just planning on leaving a toddler running around the house alone if something happens to us. So if we care about them that deeply, and I know pet owners, that's what we do, then we need to plan for them because they don't just miraculously disappear when something happens to us. If we go in the hospital, they're not going to learn to feed themselves or water themselves. So you have to have a plan in place because accidents do happen. I say it, they're not called on purpose. They're going to happen. You might have a fall. You might end up in the hospital. Who's going to feed the dog or the cat, take care of the litter box, take them out for walks?
Well, what do you do when you're going to go on vacation and you have a pet?
There you go.
Well, that's a great place to start because we just moved into a new city and I'm looking around for a dog walker, a dog sitter, somebody that can stay overnight. Can I drop them off at the house? I'm doing all these things to make sure. Now, I am fortunate to have relatives that absolutely adore my dogs, and if something did happen to me, they would end up over there. But I have lived in a city where I didn't have that, and I did have to do just that.
Yeah, but you started planning.
I started planning, absolutely. Now, my dogs are so cute, everybody wants them.
Not everybody.
But yeah, maybe not
Everybody but Dr. Ray.
But I think really laying that foundation will make you feel better. I think that's the thing that gets discounted. You have that nagging worry.
Yeah, exactly.
And once you make a plan, you feel better.
Yeah.
And
So-
remember, what your mind suppresses, your body expresses.
Amen.
So if you're worrying.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people do want what's good for their pet should something happen to them, but sometimes the adult kids can be really harsh and say, we're just going to take that dog to the shelter, and so I really would implore that families work together because if they do love that pet like a child, to do the best you can and hopefully not take the pet somewhere where they're euthanized and if at all possible. But if you have a plan on who's going to adopt your pet and love it like you would, that is the ultimate love.
You wouldn't take your sister's child to the
Right.
Well, I don't know.
But if you don't have dogs, they don't realize that.
Yeah.
Like I have a friend of mine she's not a dog person. She's like, what's the big deal?
There are some rescues that take care of senior adult dogs.
Yeah.
And I've seen several of them where they'll take in after somebody passes if we don't have family members or somebody that wants them. But other seniors oftentimes like having the older pets that are already accustomed to the aged community.
Right.
And so it's a good resource to look for.
I think the other thing that you mentioned is money. If you set a fund aside for the vet, because that might stop somebody from adopting because they just can't afford to.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, there's cost involved if you're really taking care of your pet well. So it's really important to, these are companions to us, and it's really important to do a good job keeping them cared for.
Absolutely.
Because they love us unconditionally.